What's up, guys? It's me, Deshaun, back at it again with another Chainsaw Man video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And today we got a very interesting topic for discussion, and it's regarding the Chainsaw Man anime. Is this anime overhyped? Now, I feel like this topic brings a lot of interesting perspectives in terms of the Chainsaw Man anime, but not only this anime as a whole. Now, I want you guys to definitely know that before I say anything in this video, I'm going to be as real as possible. I'm not going to be biased and lean on one side more than the other. I have been watching anime for a very long time. I am not a hater and nor am I a dick sucker. But I suppose fanboy would be more appropriate so we can keep monetization on this video. So what actually makes the Chainsaw Man anime a good target for this discussion is because it's undoubtedly a good anime. Like, we know that for a fact. But with many criticisms such as the CGI, how well this stands up in comparison to the source material, and there are two different perspectives within that take. People who prefer the anime and people who prefer the manga. Each has their own valid reasons as to why they prefer one over the other. And we're going to get more into that later because this is going to lead into the discussion on what makes a good anime adaptation. But yes, between the CGI and how this holds up in comparison to the manga, honestly, I do feel like these are very valid criticisms to have, but it seems as though there's a trend in the anime community where people are overly hating something or bashing it, and then there are people who can't take any form of criticism when it comes to a show that they like or manga that they like, and they do this very toxic, annoying thing where they just settle for less, and the animators or said manga studio could do no wrong because regardless, they're always going to make a masterpiece. Honestly, I think both of these bot-like behaviors are very toxic. You're either overly hating something or you just eat whatever's thrown in your face, no matter how half-assed or putrid the food may be. You might like this cake, but even though the frosting is mayonnaise, you're still going to stuff your face with it because you like the cake that much. As a consumer, I, for one, am not going to eat a cake covered in mayonnaise. And I think as a community, we should stop settling for less and stop the fanboying for your favorite series. And I think it's time we actually try to ignore the trolls that obviously are just gonna hate on whatever new anime's out just so they can get a rise out of you. Why spend all day arguing with someone about an anime when you could just go ahead and watch that anime? Or maybe watch another anime that's probably better than that same anime you're wasting your time arguing about. Oh yeah, I forgot, it's the internet, so people lack common sense. So much for that pipe dream. But anyways, the first thing I really want to tackle is this CGI. By no means is the CGI bad, but I feel like more people should try to understand where people are coming from when they say, I don't like the CGI in an anime or the CGI is bad in an anime. So look, Chainsaw Man does have good CGI. Very detailed, very good, not gonna hold you. I still find it very enjoyable to watch. But the reason why people are complaining about the CGI and they're saying it looks bad, okay, look, it does not look bad, but other viewers, average viewers, casual viewers that don't understand 3D animation all that well are obviously going to say it looks bad. But what exactly makes it look bad? It's not the 3D modeling or the 3D animation itself, but the whole entire point as to why it would look bad is because at the moment you are watching a show that's in 2D, and then suddenly out of nowhere, for a few frames, that same thing that you were looking at 2D just a couple frames ago is now 3D. Most people may not have an issue with it, but I feel like a lot more people should try to recognize the reason as to why other people would. Because I'm not going to lie to you, it can take you out of the show if you're not used to watching animes that handle CGI in a manner like that. If I had to give an opinion on what makes CGI good in an anime when it's going from 2D to 3D, it's good when you can hardly notice that it suddenly shifts to 3D or if it transitions into the 3D smoothly. But for the most part, a lot of animes don't actually do it smoothly at all, and it does look out of place. For example, I bet a lot of you people who are watching My Hero Seasons 1 and 2 didn't even notice that a majority of the show was actually CGI. I remember one day I was sitting around watching My Hero with my friends, and they're trying to call me stupid because I was trying to tell them My Hero was in 3D. You just have to look really closely and you can see that it's 3D. And that would be a good example of good CGI, because you'd hardly be able to notice it because it's not going to take you out of the show, because you're not noticing the sudden change in the character that you're currently witnessing on screen. Now, when it is noticeable and people say that they don't like the CGI, this is why, because it breaks immersion. Imagine you're playing a game in 64-bit and out of nowhere, it just tanks and drops to 32. 32 bits and 64 bits look pretty good, but when you suddenly just shift one, let's say during an important story cutscene or something along those lines, it's just naturally gonna break immersion for people. CGI is not bad, but this is obviously an issue for some people in their viewing experiences. I might not have that issue, and you that are watching the video may or may not have that issue, but I feel like this criticism should overall be respected. I just find it so weird that people don't care whether or not it's in CG or 2D, but then there'll be the same people who try to argue with people who don't like it. Like, if you don't care or don't have an issue with it, why do you care if other people do? You know, you can have that criticism, even though I might define it as dumb, or other people online might think it's dumb, but I still feel like that criticism should still be respected at the end of the day, especially if more than one person has this same issue. Just because it's not the worst CGI and just because it looks good, that doesn't make it any less immersion breaking for certain viewers. So with this specific issue, I feel like we should stop trying to act like this anime is some flawless masterpiece, especially when most of you already read the manga and decided this anime was already going to be a masterpiece before even actually watching it. Now, how exactly does this anime hold up to the manga? Now, we're all going to have different opinions on this, but I feel like this would be a good opportunity to give you a good look on my perspective when it comes to this anime, because I don't think I've seen anybody else have this specific opinion or issue with it. Now, when me and all my friends were watching the first episode of Chainsaw Man in a Discord call, we were all deciding it was a 10 out of 10. Well, for the most part, every one of us who've read the manga, because that first episode was amazing, we all went around the call. Hey, yo, what do you think? How'd you feel about the episode? How'd you feel about the episode? We all gave answers 10 out of 10. That was fire, amazing, masterpiece. This anime is about to be peak anime of the year, all that stuff, right? And then one of my friends said, I kind of felt like that anime episode was an 8. It was just all right. And that kind of hit me. I was like, dang, bro. I was like, just an 8? That's kind of crazy. And I thought, what more did you want out of that first episode? It basically did almost everything right. It was solid. In fact, this entire anime is solid. But little did I know that I felt that way because I just liked Chainsaw Man that much, and I just wasn't looking at it from an angle as if I wasn't a Chainsaw Man fan. What if I just stumbled upon this random anime? Would I still have the same feelings for it if I already didn't decide that I liked Chainsaw Man after reading it? When it came to me and my friend who gave the first episode an 8 out of 10, our expectations were vastly different. And I could only imagine how many other fans that are out there that feel the same way as my friend that gave it an 8 out of 10, but people are just labeling them as haters. But then when you try to put into perspective that these same people that are defending the hell out of Chainsaw Man and calling everybody who's a hater that does not agree with them, they're the same people who hyped up this anime to an insane degree, giving it expectations that it was never, ever going to be able to fulfill. If you even look at what MAPPA said when they were announcing that they were doing the Chainsaw Man anime, Chainsaw Man revs into gear for an anime led by a top-tier studio. Don't look away from the craziest entertainment. MAPPA wanted to put this to video no matter what it took. To all of the fans around the world who want to see a Chainsaw Man adaptation, we want to deliver the ultimate animation. No other anime MAPPA has made have they ever made an announcement for like this, the ultimate animation. And then you see how stacked the lineup is for this anime. I really feel like MAPPA kind of set themselves up for this. Just because the anime might be overhyped or maybe even overrated, that doesn't mean it's still not a good anime. I just want to point that out because I feel like a lot of you might be getting salty over what I'm saying in this video for whatever reason. I like the anime and I like the manga. I just want to bring this into discussion because I feel like there needs to be some light shed on this. But back to my actual opinion on the anime. For MAPPA to refer to it as the ultimate animation, the anime is not far from the mark, but if I really had to be actually like honest with you, I kind of feel like it just feels like another MAPPA anime. For example, the Demon Slayer anime doesn't feel like just another Ufotable anime. Ufotable does make good animes, but there are a lot of things that stand out when it comes to the Demon Slayer adaptation. But if I were to compare this Chainsaw Man adaptation to the Jujutsu or even Attack on Titan or Dorohedoro animes, they're kinda all the same. And I hope I'm not alone in that bracket. They're just very good, high quality MAPPA animes. There's nothing really unique about this Chainsaw Man anime specifically. And again, that's not a bad thing because MAPPA makes good animes, but when you put it into comparison with the Jujutsu Kaisen anime, people did not expect anything of this Jujutsu Kaisen anime. They just turned on Jujutsu Kaisen, watched it, and it turned out to be a really amazing show because you didn't expect much from it, and it just so happened to be a great anime by MAPPA. But when it comes to Chainsaw Man, it is kind of overhyped because MAPPA did make these specific statements about making it the ultimate animation. Then we have the fan base that is literally riding Chainsaw Man to death, and they've already decided that it was a flawless anime, perfect masterpiece, no ifs, ands, or buts. That's cool, that's your opinion, but I feel like the expectations that MAPPA laid out and the expectations that these same Chainsaw Man fans laid out that they're just so happening to be fighting against now with people who don't agree with them, in a way kind of takes away from this anime. Because hear me out, when Chainsaw Man, before it got big, before everybody loved Chainsaw Man or even knew about Chainsaw Man, I remember specifically Shonen Jump was gassing Tatsuki Fujimoto. They're like, the creator of Fire Punch is about to make a new weekly shonen manga called Chainsaw Man. Now I feel like the fun in Chainsaw Man and the most enjoyable aspect is that you don't know what to expect from a manga or anime called Chainsaw Man. When you don't come into it with all these grand expectations and it just catches you off guard, I feel like that's the best part. The comedy, the action, the fights, the emotional moments that you wouldn't expect from this series. Like, you would not expect a series called Chainsaw Man to do all these things, but then it does it. When you ruin this dive into the unknown, this grand way, this natural way to consume and experience this series by overhyping it, I personally feel like you kind of ruined the viewing experience for people who would have enjoyed it if they would have came across it without those insane expectations. But to put it bluntly, you know, I'm not biased. I love this fucking anime. I love this manga. I'm covering it on my channel. If I had to be real with you, I would definitely say that this anime is definitely overhyped, and I feel like it took away from what potential this thing could have had for other viewers. Like, obviously there are viewers like us, Chainsaw Man fans, who enjoy it because we just genuinely enjoy Chainsaw Man, but I feel like this overhyping and stuff kind of ruins it for the casual or more generic viewer. Back to my friend who gave this anime an 8 out of 10 off of its first episode and just kind of boiled it down to just being alright despite how good of a first episode Chainsaw Man had. I could only imagine how he would have felt over that first episode if his head wasn't blown up with all of these insane expectations that all of the fans and even MAPPA laid out. Maybe if he didn't have these crazy expectations for a series called Chainsaw Man, because when you initially hear the name Chainsaw Man, it's just like, what is the Chainsaw Man? What is that? You know what I'm saying? You don't know what to expect from the series. You don't expect all of the qualities that it has, because once you see something funny, you're reading Chainsaw Man. Dang, Chainsaw Man's funny. You wouldn't expect that from a series called Chainsaw Man. Dang, Chainsaw Man just made me fucking cry. You wouldn't expect that from a series called Chainsaw Man, dude. And when you sit here and you're like, Chainsaw Man's like the greatest anime ever, dude. It's so funny, deep, and compelling. And when I expect this from the show and I mentally prepare myself for it, I'm like, hey, that wasn't as funny as, you know, I thought that would be, or that wasn't as compelling or sad as I thought it would be. When I think about it, when I watched Jujutsu Kaisen, it was very fresh, different. You know, I didn't expect Gojo Satoru to have such a broken ability. You know, maybe my friend was talking about it, but he never ran around saying Jujutsu Kaisen was a masterpiece. You know what? I think I like Jujutsu Kaisen more. It's just, no, that should not be happening. Not with this series. We gotta stop overhyping, bro. Hyping up an anime kills the hype for an anime. But anyways, I hope you guys have a nice day. I'll catch you in the next Chainsaw Man video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'm out.